AM 970 WSTX.
All right, we're back. WSTX AM 970 with Reflections. Doug Canton in the studio here. We also have Cecily Tyson. Wow, Cecily, 91 you just turned? I saw Cecily Tyson there on Facebook at 91 and I said, what is this? I hope I could be the male version of that good looks at 91, okay? Anyhow.
You know she's doing it.
Anyhow, we have Cecily Lawrence here, and we also have a guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. Good morning, Alafia, everyone on St. Croix and in the Virgin Islands. My name is Iya Ketura, and it is my pleasure to be here on WSTX with Mr. Canton and Cecily Lawrence.
And we're going to be talking about young people, education, STEM, alternative approaches to engaging our young people, making sure that we grab them and get them deep into these areas such as science, technology, math, areas that also coincidentally have a lot of money coming to their benefit in the process down the road. Leadership in the community and the business world. So anyhow, you go right on ahead, Aya.
Well, this is what we're doing. I have a business called O.U.R.S.E.P, which stands for Open Your Eyes, Understand Your Greatness, and Resolve to Practice It in our STEAM enrichment programs. And STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts. For us, of course, that would be arts in culture, and mathematics. I am currently on the island of St. Croix, partnering with Education Connections at the Alfredo Andrews School for the after-school program. And it has been a wonderful journey here.
All right. Well, I want to jump on that word, a wonderful journey here. Yes. Tell us about the journey. Tell us about the beginning. Because, you know, faith, life, happening to be in the right place at the right time and meeting the right people and everything else, sometimes it happens like nature and the creator and everybody is at work. Tell us about this journey.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you asked me that because my journey to St. Croix was definitely magical. A very spiritual experience. I went to visit a friend of mine that lived on St. Thomas. And I just spent about 10 days. And while I was there, I said, you know, I wonder if I can get myself into a school to offer my services as a science educator here because I really love the island, I really love the children, the people. Let me see if I can just offer something to my community. And during the course of the 10 days, I visited St. John. And when I was on St. John, I met a brother named Ital who invited me to, sit in with him while he was doing some work with some children. And in the course of that, I ended up meeting someone at the Johns Folly Institute. I offered my program there for the first summer. That was 2 years ago. And during that summer, I got the opportunity to meet all the people on St. John that were going to, in the future, help me to really cultivate a business relationship with the community, a love relationship with the community, so that I could not only offer my services, but also eventually make some money and resources to be able to advance my program. And that's exactly what happened. I went, Alvis Christian, who is the owner and operator of the Johns Folly Institute, introduced me to the Julius Sprouse School, where at the time Miss Dionne Wells was the principal. And I offered my program to her for the after school in the summer, and she was very receptive. We worked together to make that program happen, and she was very satisfied with it. And so because of that, she actually blessed me with a endorsement for the program to the district, because at that time she was moving from principal of the school to superintendent of the district. And I believe that's her, superintendent of the district, which was St. Thomas and St. John. And someone from St. Croix picked up that endorsement and decided to invite me to come here to do programming, and that person was Miss Allen, Marisa Allen, from Education Connections. And I came here for the first time last year to do that program during the summer, and I just fell in love with St. Croix. Who could not fall in love with St. Croix? So much culture, so much, it's just beautiful people, the air, the wind, the sand, the water, the love, the community. I just fell in love with it like a second home. And I have decided to come back here and make this my permanent site for O.U.R.S.E.P. And in doing so, I decided to do the Ag Fair to, do a little representation of myself and introduce myself to the community. And when I went to the Ag Fair, oh my goodness, what a blessing, because everyone on St. Croix, it seems like everybody on the island that I needed to meet, I met on that during that 3 days. If someone had told me before, if you ever want to meet everyone you need to meet, go to the Ag Fair, I certainly would have been here years ago. But at the invitation of Marisa Allen, I went and I met Dorset Bailey, who has a beautiful Montessori school, in preschool in Frederickstead, and we got together and we just hit it off, and we decided that O.U.R.S.E.P's new home, brick and mortar, is going to be the preschool Montessori school at Frederickstead, run by the Dorset Bailey. And so through that, I'll be able to continue programming throughout the year, every year, for St. Croix and anybody else who wants to come on the island to get our services.
All right. Well,
in a nutshell.
Oh yeah. Well,
Nice.
I am reflecting here on the source, the St. John source, and I see that they have an article here, Sprout students show off STEM accomplishments. And what was your involvement in that?
Well, that article we're very proud of. That article was done on the end of the program Science and Culture Fair, something that I do after every program that I have, on whether on the island or in the States where I also have program. We put on a miniature Science and Culture Fair and we open it up to the community so that people can see what their children are learning, what their children have accomplished, because for me it's not just important to teach children directly, but we have to make connections between parents and community and children so that that support is well-rounded. They need to see what I'm doing. They need to see what the children are accomplishing. And so during that end of the program celebration and science fair, someone from the source came to interview the children, to look at the projects, talk to me briefly about what the children, what the program was about, and they did an article on us. So we're very grateful for that little advertisement, because it really opened up a lot of doors for us to extend the program to St. Croix and hopefully to St. Thomas. That's our next goal, to get something on St. Thomas and any other island that would have us. We are expanding the program exponentially.
Okay, well, you talk with us about what you're doing here and the fact that you've been doing some stuff here in the States. And I'm here looking at this video, and if you could tell me a little bit of your involvement. I see that you were being interviewed here also.
Yes. This is actually in Trenton, New Jersey, where I started the O.U.R.S.E.P program. Excuse me. My first year, I really wanted to introduce the program in a big way with not just our philosophy, but with opportunities that we wanted to bring to the children. And so we took our students to Costa Rica as an extension to a year-long research project about the environment, growing trees, and that program was called the Science to Service program, where we first teach children the basic skills, basic science, how to do research. We pick an issue in the community that's relevant in terms of environment or ecology, and then we look for a place abroad to go where there's the same kind of issues, so that we can get a sense that the issues that we have here at home are not just here at home. They're global. There are problems with water everywhere. There's problem with the cutting down of trees everywhere. So we grew trees, we planted trees in New Jersey, and we studied the wetlands and all the water quality issues in New Jersey. And then we went abroad to Costa Rica to plant trees, learn about the wetlands and the rainforest there, and try to learn in the process about the culture and the history and how ecology and the environment really bears on the social experience and the cultural experiences of the people that live in a place.
All right, fantastic. Well, there's so much to experience, and in that sense, I'm glad that you're here making that contribution here.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
It's a pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about the exhibit at the Ag Fair.
Oh, beautiful. Well, for the first time, we decided to do our Black history, or African history, and First Nation culture exhibit here. We did it in New Jersey some years ago, and I was talking to Marisa Allen about Black History Month and what she was going to do, and she said, well, I would love for you to come and do a program here. And I said, well, I really want to take that opportunity to make it extensive. I want to not just do Black history, but African history, and celebrate indigenous cultures, because they have a really important role in terms of our history here on the islands as well as in the States. So we merged the cultures and decided to make it a competition class where children would learn information, memorize the information, and be able to compete at the end for prizes. And along the way, we had them do some projects so that they would have an easier time to really learn the importance of the details that they were learning. So the exhibit at the Ag Fair was twofold. One was on traditional African history, or historical African empires, the Egyptian Empire, the Mali Empire, Benin, Ethiopia, and we wanted to focus on the diaspora, because we are all children of the diaspora. Our homeland is Africa, or Alkebulan, and many of us moved all over the world from that point, many different ways, but we all moved around the world. So the masquerade is a very African tradition in that we make masks to represent our ancestors, and we wear them, we dance with them in costume to celebrate them, to bring them forward. And so we created the idea of a diaspora masquerade, where children of the diaspora would celebrate their ancestry, their culture, including all of the colors and elements that really make them who they are. When we say colors and elements, we're talking about cultures and African elements, First Nation elements that make them who they are, and put all those influence together in a mask. And we showed those masks on a wall at the Ag Fair, and I tell you, it just drew people like flies were drawn to honey. Mm-hmm. They all day long, people were coming by and say, what is that? What is that? And that's how not only the children got a chance to really celebrate their ancestry and really express themselves with the colors of their distinctions as a group, but also the community got a chance to really see what the children are learning and get a little refresher about ancient African cultures, because our culture did not begin with slavery, and that's one of the premises of the African History and First Nation Culture program, to let children know that our history doesn't begin with slavery. It begins thousands of years before that, with greatness and with elegance and with purpose.
All right. That's a whole lot there on my plate. But no, that's great. I'm here, and we've been watching the picture of the mask on the wall, and the whole exhibit from the Ag Fair as we were talking about this, and the creativity of these young people just jumps right out at you when you look at these these masks. So they learn something about the diaspora and translate that into what they chose to do as masks. Okay?
Definitely.
And I remember the days of going out there when you have masquerade and seeing them with it. Mm-hmm. Of course, now we hear about Moko Jumbies more than anything else, but masquerade is so much more, all the way to when you had the masqueraders with Miss Asta and them in Frederickson, and you see the donkey come out, the one-person donkey, and it's like, wow, our creativity and culturally to come up with these ideas, and it's just amazing to look at, and to the extent that we can not only preserve it but project it.
Absolutely.
Because preserving, very often people think about in a book somewhere, in a museum, in stuck off somewhere, or whatever the case may be. We've got to project it so that people stay in touch and it has some relevance in terms of today, but masquerade, and I gonna go here. Mm-hmm. I gonna go here. Masquerade. These days, when you walk down the street and the way people dress, the earrings, whatever, it is all part of the the roots of masquerade
Absolutely.
that we have brought and made into mainstream of how we dress and carry ourselves.
We can't get away from it.
Can't get away from it. Can't get away from it.
Can't get away.
It's there just a part of what we do, and you look at some of the practices in Africa, as far as, for instance, the way that they adorn their skin, where they cause what we call a bump, and they in their village have a very specific talent and design and a way of being identified by the way they create these bumps all over their body into a pattern.
Yes.
So beauty definitely is in the eyes of the beholder within the context of culture.
Absolutely.
And the more that we get to understand that, the better off we are, because the challenges are sometimes how to keep folks from being judgmental in a negative way, as opposed to understanding the perspective.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you brought that up, because there is such a clear and unmistakable connection between traditional African culture, Caribbean culture, Southern culture for Black people of color. And you wouldn't really see it unless you travel to these places and you listen to how people speak. You listen to their indigenous languages and how they sound when they're speaking English. I tell you, yesterday I was on a bus and I was talking to a man. I didn't know he was from St. Lucia, but I have been to West Africa as you know, as a part of my own personal pilgrimage and visiting family. And I was so positive that this man was from Nigeria. So positive. I was just going to tell him, oh yeah, I'm Yoruba too, and blah, blah, blah. And then he mentioned that he was from St. Lucia. And I was flabbergasted. I said, this man sounds exactly like somebody who speaks fluent Yoruba, but just is making a concession to speak English for me because I speak English. And it just really brought back to me that Africans everywhere, no matter where they went, they adapted, they amalgamated, but they did not lose essentially who they were, even if you're not present with who you are. And as you were speaking earlier about tracing your lineage and with UVI, which I think is an awesome class. I hope everybody takes advantage. But even if you don't know what your lineage is, you're carrying it. These dances that girls are doing that you know, may look a little risque to some elders.
But not only that, they think that they're coming up with this out of their mind.
Exactly. And it's programmed.
And they don't understand that thousands of years and the genetics that it's coming out. That's why not everybody can do it. So you have the creativity just in music.
Yeah,
you know,
rhythms, drum, dance.
You listen to let's say Michael Jackson when he did the Billie Jean.
Oh yeah.
And how you take the bass, which was in other cultures just a supportive minor role.
Yes.
And the whole song requires the bass as the backbone of that song to exist.
There you go.
And it comes through culturally, you know, in that context. But you know, whether it's Africa, Europe, down under, when you look at people, you see people you know. Because the gene pool is such that we all are replicated someplace else.
Very true.
Yes.
It's kind of like if you have a billion possibilities, the possibilities occur more than one time. And once in a while, we're fortunate enough to see someone and realize, wait a minute, that this world is really very small.
Very small.
And it's being recirculated. I have a very good friend here. I was looking at a documentary that had to do with Africa, and I saw this individual. I took a screenshot of the person that I saw because it looked exactly like the person that I know here. I mean,
yes, exactly.
Right. So it's
amazing. It's an amazing, beautiful thing.
Amazing. Okay. Well, let's come back full circle again to where you're connected on St. Croix and what you're working on here in St. Croix.
Definitely. Well, it's been my extreme pleasure and great blessing to be in partnership with Marisa Allen with Education Connections at the Alfredo Andrews School. But because of the Ag Fair, I am now going to be starting programming at the Montessori School with Dorset Bailey this summer. So at this summer, I'll be at the Montessori School doing summer program. I will also be with Education Connections at Alfredo Andrews doing summer program. And throughout the school year, we will be doing a homeschool program. We'll be doing out of school, Saturday Academy at the Montessori School. And we will also be coming back again in February to do the African history and First Nation culture quiz bowl again in February. That's going to be ongoing. Okay. So, and please let me not forget, in addition to meeting those two wonderful women, I had the pleasure of visiting Africa House the other day. And I am definitely going to be doing some volunteering there so that we can really reach out to the community and offer some things there. It's just really been a wonderful thing being on St. Croix. And in terms of where to find the program or how to connect with it, Dorset Bailey Montessori School is in Frederickstead, and the address is 171 Two Brothers Estate, and her phone number is 340-642-7227.
Say that number again, but slow down. You know, we do this to our audience too often. Like they're just standing by with a pad and pencil ready to.
Yeah.
I'm guilty.
Yes.
Slow it down.
I'm guilty.
Name and number.
Yes, the Montessori Preschool in Frederickstead, 171 Two Brothers Estate, operated and owned by Dorset Bailey, and the phone number is 340-642-7227. We're going to be running a STEAM program, Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts and Culture, and Mathematics summer program, with also a focus on literacy this summer for 6 weeks. So please give a call to her so you can get registration in because the seats are limited. And I'm also going to be doing a summer program with Education Connections. So you'll have to check Marisa Allen at the Alfredo Andrews School for that. It's going to be a busy time, but I'm up for it. I'm looking forward to coming back to the island and making it my second home.
All right. Well, I highly recommend that you create some other avenues of connection for the community. Are you on Facebook?
Yes, I am on Facebook under Iya Ketura, IYAKETURAH. My email, you can reach me at OUR_SEP@hotmail.com. And I would be very, very open to receiving all suggestions because I am, like I said, I am new here, so I'm looking to really extend myself to the community in a big way, to not just be a part of the community, education community, but a part of the community as well in any way that I can be of service and enjoy the benefits of being here.
Well, I would never have known that you're new here because when I see your face, I see people who have been here. Okay? All right? So in that sense, definitely, not too much emphasis on the new here. New in terms of the programs, maybe.
Yes,
and
yes.
The connections and the network. But definitely, STEAM is definitely a great thing to be doing for our young people. And I want to wish you all success in what you're doing. And I'm so glad that you're on Facebook because it just is another avenue of connection. Once we leave this program and go on about our lives, as folks know, I go and I take my shows and I put them onto YouTube. Of course, you see them on Facebook with links to YouTube also. So you'll have that as a vehicle for folks to follow up on this conversation.
Fantastic.
Okay.
I'd like to give a special shout out to the Gift Hill School on St. John. I have a program that runs there for the mini-mester in January between semesters, and we did a CSI program this past winter. And I want to say that the Gift Hill School is small, but it is a beautiful place. The staff there, the students there are very dedicated. If you have a program and you want to offer a program to a school and you really want to see results out of that program, that is a place you definitely want to check out. A very wonderful community there. So I want to give a shout out to them and all the people and the schools on St. Croix, the Sproul School, to Alfredo Andrews School, the Montessori School. It has been a pleasure. And again, Thank you for the big welcome, and again, I look forward to continuing to making St. Croix, the Virgin Islands, my new home.
All right. Well, you sent me some pictures here the other day.
Yes.
And I want to get back to those pictures in a quick second here.
Sure.
And let me see. That was, you use, there we go. We got some pictures here that was sent via Dropbox. And if you could tell me a little bit about what these pictures represent.
Okay. Some of these pictures were done at the Johns Folly Learning Institute, my first experience in the Virgin Islands. That institute is run by Alvis Christian Sr. and Jr. And these students are doing the Introduction to Biology with with my Build a Nation program. We went to the beach. We went to the bay, rather, the Johns Folly Bay, and we talked about the water there. We talked about the animals there, and then we have pictures from the Sprout School, where we're doing cells. We're making candy cells. Where they're constructing some of their own designs in the engineering program. We had connects, and we were talking about the different aspects of geometry and how to build different shapes. And after they learn that, I let the children build any structure they wish to build using with some requirements to use the shapes that we talked about. And these are some of the shapes that the structures that they came up with, and they really did an excellent job. We have really brilliant children, and they just need to be given the time that they need to really get what they're learning, so that they can really show the excellence of what they're capable of. That's why, one of the reasons why I got into enrichment. I used to be a school teacher in the daytime, and I really felt that I didn't have the time to really realize the children's greatness in what they were learning. And I felt that in enrichment, I would be able to offer them that time. And it's exactly what I thought. When given the time, children can really show you what they can do.
All right. Well, I'm going to take a quick second here to introduce you to someone, Howard Graywolf Forbes on Facebook. But the fact that your classes involve marine related stuff, he's involved with UVI.
Beautiful.
And I'm sure that he would love the opportunity, when you're working with those young people again, to be able to possibly do a presentation with them, or maybe even complement what you're doing, as far as if it involves the environment, the ocean, the beaches. Definitely he would be interested in it.
Awesome.
So definitely I'm here flipping through trying to find the particular connection. But as you see, he's very active in the community, and he has a counterpart here at UVI on St. Croix also.
Okay, fantastic.
And definitely, because it's all about networking.
Yes.
It's all about networking, and also about broadening the exposure of our young people, because when we have problems with trash on the beach, the way we deal with those problems is education.
Absolutely.
Because young people very often, if they don't know, will do things that you would want to know, well, why are you doing this? But that's because they don't know. They need to be educated.
There you go.
Okay? In that context. So I'm happy to definitely
that would be awesome.
introduce you to him. And, the UVI Center for Marine and Environmental Studies. Okay. And
awesome.
I'm looking at this picture here. Don't contribute to plastic pollution in the ocean. You see all of this stuff here. It's like, wow.
That's
but it starts with education.
It does.
And the other thing I'm seeing happening more and more that they're engaging our young people in particular is to take what we call trash from the ocean and making art.
Yes.
And not only that, but some of the things that they've created, folks come up and fall in love with and give them good money for.
Exactly. It becomes then functional art.
Exactly.
Yes.
And financially rewarding art.
Indeed. Yeah. We're not mad at making a few dollars, right?
Okay. When I look at these pictures that we were just viewing a minute ago, and you see these young people basically captivated in what they're doing. I mean, it's clear you've got their attention. Okay, you look at this young man here, and
he's in it.
I mean, he's into it. Okay? And then you look at what clearly is a collaborative group of people here at this table working together, paying attention to what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know better, this looked like they were taking a test, and all they're doing is just
they're learning.
Concentrating on the things that they're learning about. Now, you know, I have a young man in my life, and he loves to chase lizard, and if I'm too careful, do some other not so nice things. And it's saying like, wait a minute, you got to understand the lizards. They got a job to do. You see all those little roaches running around the place. They eat them up so they don't come in your house and live in your house.
Exactly.
And they eat other insects and so forth and so on. And then you run into young people who are afraid of bees, and I said, wait a minute, do you understand what bees do?
Yes. If they go, we go.
And then I start talking about different fruits and find out which ones they like, and say, do you know that the bees made this happen?
Wow.
And so forth and so on. So all of these efforts are not only important to the immediate education, but the long-term viability of mankind, and in this case, island kind.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
So I am not just doing this here as O.U.R.S.E.P, but my program is designed to partner. So anyone who's doing anything with children, having to do with culture, arts, science, music, let's partner and do something together.
All right. Well, that's really how you have a greater effectiveness in the community.
Exactly.
Through partnerships.
Networking, partnerships.
Good. Okay. Well, you know, it's a small world.
It's a small world.
Through Cecily, our paths cross.
Definitely.
And
she's
to
awesome.
our paths crossing, we're here today talking.
Yes.
Networking is important. And what I would like you to do, since the time is flying by here, all right, I want you to talk about your connection with the schools, Montessori, John Woodson,
the Montessori School and Alfredo Andrews.
Alfredo Andrews area, I'm thinking in that context.
Okay.
But I want you to touch on your connections and the people, names, and numbers.
Definitely. Okay. So the first connection that I have on St. Croix is with Education Connections, directed by Marisa Allen. The site is located at Alfredo Andrews. It is the after-school program. It is the after-school and out-of-school program because she has programs during the summer. And I am currently there doing a African history program for the month of February, but I'll be back in the summertime. I'm going to give her email, educationconnections@gmail.com is how you would get in touch with her, but you can certainly get in touch with her through the Alfredo Andrews School because it's the after-school program and summer program running there. So definitely contact Alfredo Andrews and ask about Education Connections. And the program at the Montessori Preschool is in Fredericksted. And that program is run by Dorset Bailey. And her number is 340-642-7227. And the address is 171 Two Brothers Estate. And we're going to be doing summer programming there. But she has a Montessori preschool that runs all year round. She also has a homeschool, and she's going to be starting a Saturday Academy. So she has lots of beautiful things going on. Please call and check her out. Go by and visit. Seats for that program is limited, so call now and register for the summer so that you can get for the STEAM and literacy program.
Before you go, I want to know when you're coming back.
Please.
Yes, I will be back on the island for programming.
No. I am more selfish than that. When you're coming back to my program to report back on your escapades and successes and more pictures and
you give me a date and I will come back.
Okay.
Awesome. I'm on your time. I'm on island time.
Well, what you do is as you amass your pictures and video and other things, and you know that we have that conversation, definitely you give me a buzz, an email, a Facebook.
Fantastic. Thank you
And
for the love.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Cecily, for making the connection. Thank you for coming out for the Ag Fair. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even know about WSTX, but now I'm a fan. Thank you, Douglas Canton, for all your blessings.
As well.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody. St. Croix, Virgin Islands. Enjoy your blessed day. Peace.
All right. Fantastic.